Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about the transformation of sentences, understanding phrase and clause, and also how to transform those sentences. Okay, first of all, what is a phrase and what is a clause? Phrase is a group of words without a finite verb. In that group of words, you cannot find a verb. Okay, so for example, I've not given any example here because in the previous class I taught you in detail about what is a phrase in the morning, to the street. So there are no finite verb. But what is a clause? Before that, clause can be divided into two types. One is main clause, or it can also be called as independent clause. Okay, what is a main clause? A group of words with a finite verb and a complete meaning. For example, he saw the dog. In this sentence, this group of words give complete meaning, and you have a finite verb, saw. Okay, saw. So this group of words give complete meaning and it can stand on its own. That is why it is called as an independent clause. It can stand on its own. But look at the next type of clause, subordinate clause. The name itself says it is subordinate to something else. To which one? To the main clause. It is dependent clause. It is depending on which clause? It is depending on the independent clause or main clause. Okay, group of words with a finite verb but with an incomplete meaning. It gives meaning when it is added with the main clause. For example, when he crossed the road. If I say this, you will ask me, when he crossed the road, what happened? Because this particular group of words do not give the complete meaning. It has to depend on the main clause. Let's add these two group of words. When he crossed the road, he saw the dog. Oh, when he crossed the road, he saw the dog. These two group of words come together to give a complete meaning. Okay, so any group of words, even with a finite verb which does not give a complete sense, is a subordinate clause or a dependent clause. Any group of words which can stand on its own and give a complete meaning with a finite verb, it is a main clause or independent clause, or it can also be called as a principal clause. Okay, let's see. Identifying rule. Okay, simple sentence has a main clause. You can ask complex sentence also has a main clause. Look at the second part, main clause, main clause, main clause. The first part, phrase, subordinate clause and main clause. So all the three sentences will definitely have one main clause, and simple sentence with that main clause, it may have a phrase or may not have a phrase. It is a simple sentence, and that simple sentence will have only one finite verb. Okay, so that is why in the in the below lines I've given simple sentence as a finite verb with or without a phrase. What is the second one? Complex sentence. Complex sentence has a main clause with one or more subordinate clauses. Compound sentence has two or more main clauses, but all the three sentences will have a main clause. So to identify, you have to just leave out the main clause and find out the second part, whether it has a phrase, means it is a simple sentence. If it has a subordinate clause, it is a complex sentence. If it has one or more main clauses, that would be a compound sentence. You will understand better in the next slide. Okay, look at this example sentence. One sentence has been transformed to complex and compound. Look at the first sentence. Yeah, the first sentence goes like this. I will zoom in. Simple sentence. In spite of his hard work, he did not succeed. So that one which is circle, no, which has a circle, that is a phrase because that group of words do not have a verb. You search for a verb, in spite of is not a verb, his artwork is not a verb. So that is a phrase. So that particular sentence has only one main clause. What is that? He did not succeed. And where is the verb? Succeed is the verb and it is in the negative form. Did not succeed. But that group of words can stand on its own and give a complete meaning. He did not succeed. It has a meaning. And it has come here with a phrase, and that's why it is a simple sentence. It can be with a phrase or without a phrase also. Look at the second sentence. The same sentence has been transformed to complex sentence. The second point remains the same. Look at he did not succeed remains the same. So main clause. But the first part phrase has been changed to a clause. How to change a phrase into a clause? You need to give a verb. Subordinate clause or dependent clause has a verb, but it will not give complete meaning. Read that particular group of words. Though he worked hard. Okay, sir, tell me the complete thing. Though he worked up, what happened? Even though this group of words have a verb, worked, it does not give a complete sense because it is a subordinate clause or dependent clause. It has a subordinate conjunction. Here you can see at the left, and a circle word though. That is a subordinate conjunction. Okay, so subordinate clause and one main clause makes it a complex sentence. The next one is a compound sentence. The compound sentence always have main clauses. He worked hard, but he did not succeed. In the previous sentence, though he worked out, though is been taken here because you cannot use two conjunctions in a sentence. Either it can be a subordinate conjunction or it can be a coordinated conjunction. If it has a subordinate conjunction, it is a subordinate clause and it comes under a complex sentence. But here it has a coordinating conjunction, but. So the first part is also a main clause. He worked hard. Worked is a finite verb and this group of words give complete meaning. The second part is already a main clause. He did not succeed. That also gives a complete meaning. So two main clauses connected by a coordinating conjunction, that is a compound sentence. So this is how you change a sentence into another two types of sentences, simple to complex and simple to compound, or complex to compound, or compound to complex, or complex to simple. So when you read all these three sentences, there won't be any difference of meanings. In spite of his hard work, he did not succeed. So I have already told this group of sentences, this group of ideas are called as contrasting ideas. In spite of his hard work, he puts in his work, that means hard work, something positive, but the result is negative. He did not succeed. One positive and one negative. Something contrasting. Though he worked hard, see the second sentence, though he worked hard, he did not succeed. Contrasting ideas. Still, even though we convert the simple sentence, we transform the simple sentence into complex, this gives the same meaning. When you transform this into a compound sentence, still it gives the same meaning. He worked hard, but he did not succeed. So what are the clue words? In spite of, though, and but. Okay, let's look at the model one. That is the contrasting ideas. You will understand better with this one. Simple sentence, I told you the model number one, which I'm going to teach you, is contrasting ideas. Two ideas are there. In spite of his poverty, he helps. Before that, there is a table at the top which gives you the clue words. Simple sentence, what are the clue words you can use? In spite of or despite. You can't use despite of. Okay? In spite of or despite. In compound sentence, but yet still. In complex sentence, though, although, even though. Okay, let's look at the simple sentence. In spite of his poverty, he helps. He was poor, but he helps. He is poor, but he helps. So, in the simple sentence in the table, you look at the clue in spite of. That in spite of is here. And when you look at that in spite of his poverty, that blue words, and I have mentioned it as a phrase because no verb is there. But the second idea, he helps. There is a verb and gives complete meaning. That is why it is a main clause. I just put an arrow and I mark there a main clause. How to transform the simple sentence into a complex sentence? Phrase. How to change a phrase into a subordinate clause? Subordinate clause means it should have a verb. Subordinate clause means there should be a subordinating conjunction. Look at the clue words in complex sentence: though, although, even though. So I use though. The subject which is talking about is he. So though he. Look at the verb in the simple sentence: he helps. It is in present tense, so I go for is. Be form verb is. Though he is. Poverty is noun, and I'm changing that into an adjective, because though he is poverty will not bring sense. That's why I've changed the noun form into an adjective, because we are qualifying a noun. Though he is poor. So now what we have done, we have changed the phrase into a clause, subordinate clause, by giving a subordinating conjunction. So the clue words are helping you. So we have changed in spite of his poverty into though he is poor. The next idea is going to remain the same, because that is the main clause. Though he is poor, he helps. Look at the third sentence, compound sentence. Compound sentence means it should have two main clauses. So in the previous sentence, though is there, you remove that though, because any sentence can have one conjunction in complex or in compound. That can be either subordinate or coordinating conjunction. So he is poor, but what is the right coordinating conjunctions? Look at the top in the table. Compound sentence has but, yet, still. So you can go with any one of these conjunctions, whichever suits the sentence and gives proper meaning to that. So but is the coordinating conjunction. So he is poor, which is a main clause, because it stands on its own. Even if you remove the rest of the idea, he is poor gives sense. But now he is poor but he helps. He helps is already a main clause. So it's very easy to change in this model from simple sentence to complex, and that to compound. So you can just pause the video and try to understand better. Okay? And exercise for model 1. Exercise for model 1. Change the simple sentences into other forms. That means compound and complex. In spite of heavy rain, we went to play. Despite her weakness, she was present for the class. In spite of running fast, he lost the race. So 3 sentences are there. Each sentence you have to change that into compound and complex. So you can use the previous model. You can use the previous model and just check with this one and try on your own and give me the answers. Okay? Let's move on to model 2. Ideas based on reason. The previous model number 1 was contrasting ideas, but this one, ideas based on reason. Why you didn't come to school? I didn't come to school as I was sick. That's what you say, reason. There should be reason, right? So this particular ideas, 2 ideas, these ideas based on reason. So in simple sentence, you can just check the table. The simple sentence, being is there. Compound sentence, and or so, or and therefore. Okay, in complex sentence, add since and because. So in simple sentence, I can add more like on account of, because of, due to, owing to, as a result. All these phrases you can use only for a reason. Why you didn't come? Because of my problem, I did not come to school. Due to bad weather, I didn't come to school. Owing to my sickness, I didn't come to school. As a result of the accident, I did not come to school. Okay, but compound sentence and so, the next one is and therefore. In complex sentence, as or since or because. Okay, let's see the simple sentence. Due to the bad weather, the match was cancelled. So, simple sentence already we have seen there would be only one main clause. Which is the main clause? Which part of idea has the verb due to bad weather? Is there any verb? No. So that is a phrase, because any group of words which does not have a finite verb is a phrase. And the next part, the match was cancelled. Was cancelled is a verb, and that's why it is a main clause. The first sentence has a main clause and a phrase, so definitely it is a simple sentence. So in the table, simple sentence due to is used. Clue word due to is used. So in the compound sentence, what should be used? And so or therefore and therefore. So compound sentence, coordinating conjunctions we can use. Okay, so how to change a phrase into a main clause? Because we are going to change first of all into a compound sentence in this model. Okay, due to bad weather. Due to bad weather, the weather was bad. We are taking the noun weather, the weather was bad. Why did I use was here? Because look at the previous sentence. In simple sentence, the match was cancelled. It isn't past tense, so I'm using past tense word. The weather was bad. I changed a phrase into a clause by giving a finite verb phrase. In the phrase there was no verb, but here the weather was bad, and I'm giving a suitable conjunction. For this reason we have to use and or and so or and therefore. I'm using and so. Okay, the weather was bad and so is the coordinating conjunction, because anything that connects two main clauses or coordinating conjunctions. The next part is already a main clause. The weather was bad and so the match was cancelled. Hope you understand this. Okay, the third sentence. Look at the third sentence. Complex sentence. Complex sentence means it should have a subordinate clause. So what is the subordinating conjunction at the table? As or since or because. So since I'm using, since the weather was bad. See, here also there is a verb was, but it does not give complete meaning. Why? Because of the subordinate conjunction. Since the weather was bad, as the weather was bad, because the weather was bad, anything you can use. But don't use a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction is used only in the compound sentence. In complex sentence, since the weather was bad, the match was cancelled. You read all the three sentences. Due to bad weather, the match was cancelled. The weather was bad and so the match was cancelled. Since the weather was bad, the match was cancelled. All the three sentences give the same meaning. You must keep that in your mind. When you transform a sentence from simple to compound or to complex, there shouldn't be any change of meaning. You keep that in your mind, please. Okay, it is very easy. There are 11 models. Only 2 models I'm teaching you today, and I'm giving you the exercises for model 2. Being very intelligent, he passed the final exam. See, in the previous sentence, being, if there is being in compound, how will you change? Being very intelligent, he passed the final examination. How to change it into compound? What is the subject? He passed the final exam, so he should be the subject. He, whether to use is or was, because being is there, be form verb. Past is past tense. P-A-S-S-E-D is, that word is a past tense. So we use was. He was very intelligent, and so he passed the final exam. I'm just giving you the clue. You can just move on, or you can just refer to the previous table and learn it. Very easy to learn. Okay, today for our learning, only two models. I will post the answers after some time. Second sentence, she was ill and therefore she was absent to her classes. She was ill, one main clause. She was absent to her classes. Another main clause, in between there is a coordinating conjunction. It is a compound sentence. So you need to change it into simple sentence and complex sentence. Next one, since he practiced regularly, this is a complex sentence. He performed well in the cricket match, so you need to change it into simple and compound sentence. Okay, so you try to do this, and I'll post the answers for model 1 exercises and also for the model 2 exercises. You can pause the video and you can understand this one better, and in the coming classes I will post you about model 3 and model 4. We can learn it little by little, because transformational sentences are very, very important. People think that it is very difficult, but it is not so. If you just give your attention, if you just be focused, you can learn it very easily. You can just write in 3 ways. You can convey your ideas in 3 ways: in simple, complex, and compound. Even when you speak, you can convey your ideas in 3 different ways. This would help your speaking or writing become better. So all the best. God bless you.